The Philippine Coast Guard says it received information from Palawan fishermen that a People's Liberation Army Navy helicopter harassed Filipino fishing vessels in Rosul Reef. PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea Commodore J. Tariela says BRP Belchor Aquino and BRP Cape Engaño were deployed to Rosul Reef to ensure the security of Filipino fishers there. According to Tariela, the deployment also aims to provide evidence of the active presence of Filipino fishermen in the West Philippine Sea. He also notes the increase in the number of Filipino fishers in the West Philippine Sea despite potential harassment from the Chinese Coast Guard. Tariela says the PCG remains committed to safeguarding the rights of Filipino fisherfolk and upholding the country's sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. Rosul Reef is located 237 kilometers from Palawan's Rizal town. China's harassment of Filipino vessels is in line with its assertion of sovereignty over most of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea. But an international tribunal ruling said China's claim over the South China Sea has no basis under international law, affirming the Philippines' exclusive sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea. The Philippine National Police says it has not received any credible threat against the life of Vice President Sara Duterte. In a radio interview on Monday, December 2, PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo says the police have no knowledge of the supposed documented threat Duterte is referring to. Nevertheless, Fajardo says the PNP is aware that threats are inherent in Duterte's position as Vice President, adding that police are ready to provide security to her as needed. Duterte earlier claimed there was a supposed threat against her life, even declaring that should she get assassinated, she already tasked someone to kill President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez. The Vice President also claimed that Romualdez is the only person who would want to kill her, but the Speaker quickly denied this by tagging it as a mere product of fertile imagination. Duterte, along with the head of her security group, Colonel Raymond Lachica, is currently facing charges of direct assault, disobedience to the persons in authority, and grave coercion before the Department of Justice. Following the filing of cases against her, the Vice President said she was considering filing charges against the PNP for disobedience, kidnapping, and robbery. These developments come amid the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability's probe into alleged fund misuse by the OVP and the Department of Education under Duterte's leadership. Ombudsman Samuel Martires says his office has no jurisdiction to probe Vice President Sara Duterte's threat to have President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez killed should she be assassinated herself. In a radio interview, Martires was asked about the statement of Department of Justice Undersecretary Jesse Andres that Duterte can be subject of any criminal and administrative case and that it is within the Ombudsman's authority to act on this matter. Martires says the statements of Andres are misleading, even tagging the DOJ official's remarks as disinformation. According to Martires, his office does not have jurisdiction over the Vice President's remarks because they were supposedly private in character and personal to Duterte. He explains that the Ombudsman mainly probes cases committed under Republic Act 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act and offenses under the revised penal code related to RA 3019. He also addresses reports seemingly indicating a misunderstanding between the Office of the Ombudsman and the DOJ. Martires says they were not fighting, but his office was supposedly hurt by the statements of Andres that were made without consulting his office. The National Bureau of Investigation earlier issued a subpoena against Duterte, asking her to explain her statement regarding the kill order against Marcos and his family. Duterte may face complaints for alleged grave threats under Article 282 of the revised penal code in relation to Section 6 of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. According to the NBI, Duterte may have also violated the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020.